feel like walking in here, Sheldon?
It feels
8 months or so, but is this like the final cutting of the cord, do you think, to stand on the other bench?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, I hadn't thought of it in that context, Lance, but yeah, I think that's fair. It's it was nice to get home last night and have dinner with the wife and kids, and fought traffic on the QEW on the way to get here, and then the Gardner this morning. So all that's very, very familiar, but of course it'll be a little different on the other bench here tonight. But I think when puck drops, it's hockey, and I felt kind of similar when we played them down in Jersey as well.
What went into that decision for your family to stay back, and how difficult has that been for you?
It's why the decision. I mean, we were fortunate to spend 9 years here. My boys are 12 and 14, and I've created some great friendships and competitive hockey and lacrosse players, and didn't want to disrupt that. My wife also is very comfortable, and lots of great friendships and support systems around her. So we had a pretty good sense that the next move, or if there was going to be a move, would be one where the family would likely stay behind. That's part of why a place like New Jersey was so appealing, because it is so accessible. Short flight, and between Newark and the two New York airports, there's lots of options to get back and forth to Toronto. I've spent many off days, frankly, back here in Toronto as well, and reconnecting with them, and they visited a bunch. So that's helped it. It's probably gone better than expected. I was expecting it to be difficult, and there certainly is challenging times, but the job itself is challenging and demanding, and you're on the road and all these sorts of things as it is. So to give them some stability, to be able to stay home in their routines, because even if they were to come with me, I'm gone a lot. So to give them that stability has been important, and our support system and our friends and family around have helped a great deal.
Is there a higher sense of emotion, Sheldon, for you walking back into this building this morning? It can't be the same as going into Carolina or wherever you haven't had a relationship.
No, it's different, and different than all those experiences for sure. There's not a lot of emotion attached to it right now, quite honestly. It feels very familiar, as I said, everything from my drive in this morning to walk in, very familiar in that sense, but it'll be different here tonight, on the other side of it. But I also don't want to make it bigger than it is, because it really is ultimately a hockey game, and the players will determine the outcome on the ice on both sides, and I'll look to enjoy it for what it is, and then we'll move along.
How did your years in Toronto make you a better coach? I'm assuming you going into Jersey.
Well, I do feel that my first experience, in the NHL was one in which I had such an opportunity to coach not only a great team, but such a terrific franchise with so many great resources and expectations to win and all of that. So I think that my growth as a coach is perhaps expedited in lots of ways, because you experience so many things that maybe takes a little bit longer in other places. So I think I know the league a lot better. I believe I've got a clear understanding of how to succeed in the league. As a young coach, you're sort of finding your way through that in your first couple of seasons. But I think you guys have a very clear sense of who I am as a coach and what I can offer to the group, and how to succeed in the league. And certainly, for all those reasons, grateful for the opportunity that I had here. As I've said a number of times, forever disappointed we weren't able to deliver and have more success in the playoffs, which is part of why change is required, and I think change has been good.
Just as a follow-up to that, I've known Leaf coaches who were actually relieved when they were relieved. Did you have any of those sentiments at all?
I loved every second of being the Leafs coach, so I wouldn't say that. And then you can just tell them the fact that I left my family here. I was very comfortable here, and part of that is, I haven't had as much as pressure and expectation, all these things that are part of being the Leafs coach, and for me, of having young kids that are out and about with sports and such, I was probably out in the public more than most Leafs coaches. I never once had a negative experience. Treated nothing with great respect. And even this summer, being around, I never left all summer, other than the odd trip to Jersey here and there, but just being around and people stopping to come up and thank me for my time here. So, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with the job and lots of privilege, and I loved every single day that I coached the Leafs.
What was the best unsolicited suggestion you got from a fan or someone around town when you were at the Leafs?
Oh, I don't know. There was many, but all in good fun and good, all in coming from a good place. Like just as you guys, I don't need to tell you. I mean, just the fact that you're all here, it's because you're all feeding the passion that there is, and the Leafs and the organization, this community are fortunate to have such a great fan base, and that's why so much effort goes into trying to get it right.
What have you told a young Sheldon about the job that you had, the 5 years? You knew the microscope you were under, but was there anything that you didn't know about this market?
I wouldn't say so. I being here for the time I spent with the Marlies in advance, being in the same city, being able to watch Mike Babcock work on a daily basis, and all those sorts of things, either directly and being on the inside and around the team, or getting some anecdotes from different people in the organization, or just to be able to follow along as closely as I was. I felt like I learned a lot about the market and felt as prepared as you can be for someone who hasn't worked in the league before in a market like this. So I benefited greatly from that and the access that Babs gave me, as a young coach, to be around the NHL and a part of his staff and training camps and communications throughout the seasons, all of that. So I don't think there was anything that really caught me off guard, I would say, frankly.
Bobby McMahon was one of the players this morning who thanked you for your influence on him. How do you feel about the impact of some of the players in the Leaf room that grew under your tutelage?
I mean, yeah, there's lots of guys that I feel good about, not just here but around the league. Whether it's the Marlies or Leafs, I feel good about the job that myself and our coaching staff, and not just us, but development staff, the training staff. There's just so many terrific people around the Leafs that help these guys develop and be the best version of themselves. And Bobby's one that just stayed true to himself and believed in himself and kept working. I think he's a tremendous player. It was a great loss for us last year going towards the playoffs when he wasn't available, because he'd become such an important part of our team. So to see him succeeding and really not missing a beat this year and just continuing to grow, you feel really good for guys like that.
He also spoke about how you kind of opened his eyes to the offensive side of the game, middle ice. They get him back tonight. Like, seeing him on the other side now, like, how big of an impact does that make on the Leafs?
Well, I think he does so many things very well, and he's just such a gamer too. I think, when I spoke with Kaber after being let go, one of the things I said to him is every team needs a Jake McCabe, and I think he's that guy. He's an ultimate team player, plays the game hard and honest, but also works at his game, and I really enjoyed having him. He helped us a great deal, and clearly a big part of their team here too.
Any lineup notes for you guys? I know Stefan Asa got banged up the other night.
Yeah, we've got some illness stuff going on, so we'll have some game time decisions here again tonight. It was the same with Nason the other day. It's just with these sorts of things, you're touch and go and making sure everybody's all right. So we won't look wildly different than we did the other night, but we'll have to see. Obviously, Holland's come up and gives us an additional option, and we'll see where we're at tonight.
Sheldon, Four Nations are coming up quick. What's it going to be like to see some of your guys go up against each other? You cheer for Canada, you just cheer for no injuries? What's an NHL coach's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited just to see some of these guys playing together and against each other. It's been so long, and some of these guys you've never seen in that type of an environment. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it. Don't know quite what to expect from the format and the way it comes together. Obviously, a little bit different, and stakes are a little different, perhaps, in the Olympics and such. But just talking with our guys who are going, they're really excited about it. Everything I just mentioned, the chance to represent your country and play best on best. I just think it's going to be a tremendous showcase for the league.
One of the things that Jack said when he was named to the team is, the potential of maybe playing alongside Austin Matthews. You've had the chance to coach them both. What do you think that could look like?
I think the skill sets match in lots of ways. I've been so impressed coaching Jack this season. He's been just tremendous in taking on more and wanting to grow. He's become a penalty killer for us now, things that I don't think he really saw in his game, but his vision, his ability to transport the puck up the ice and find himself out of trouble to make plays is tremendous. So whoever they choose to use those guys, and that's the benefit of And the great thing about best on best is there's just so many possibilities for any of the teams. So I think we'll all be excited to watch and how it all unfolds.
Talking about Jack there, what impresses you about the way he sort of embraced what you've asked him to do?
Just that he wants to be great, and I think he's a confident guy, but I think there's some things on the defensive side of it that he was unsure of about how much impact he could really make. But tried to give him opportunity to work his way through some things, but also he just embraced it. And I used many examples of the top players on the Leafs, and I don't think these guys get nearly enough credit for how hard they compete on the puck and the turnovers that they can create and how they forecheck. So to be able to have top players and examples of how they're working and competing and creating offense out of that was really kind of set the foundation for how I went at it with Jack, and he's really embraced that. So he's learned through that he can impact the game without the puck equally, as when he has it. So that's how you truly be great and kind of go up to the next tier of players in the league, and he's embraced it.
Any money on the board tonight?
I said this when I was out in Jersey. I had a fair amount on the first game when we played these guys in the home opener, and we did not go well. So I'm not revisiting that. We're going to play for the points tonight.